Welcome to Meet the HR Show. My name is Laura Nell, and today we're going to address you over there. You're a graduate, you just finished school, and you're looking for that ultimate job. But you need some tips to be able to get to that exact job you're looking for. So join in and get to listen from Mr. Erastus Cheriot. Welcome. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Laura?
I'm very well.
Yes.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been some time.
Yes.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Doing fine, how are you?
I'm very well.
You're welcome.
Most of the time we see on social media young people complaining, we can't get jobs, things are hard, things are rough. Now, is the fact that most of the time when we finish school, we want to get a white collar job.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to majorly focus on our talent and skills.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a big problem, or are things okay?
There can be a bit of a problem with that when candidates choose strictly and say they want to pursue white collar jobs. I think that is an expectation for most candidates as they leave schools. But a fresh graduate should know that at that period of graduation, how old are they around that time? About 20s, early 20s, right?
Yes.
And they have a lot of time to try out new things. So one, they should take that period of time not only to prepare their CVs, because that is about the first thing you should do. I've read into candidates who have been advised, I don't know from where, that a CV is not important. So take time to do a good CV during that period. It is so important. It may not be used, it may not come in handy for the first roles you're getting. But again, it's very bad if you're asked by someone to provide a CV and you don't have. So if you have that CV, that becomes good. Two, now, the fact that you have a CV doesn't mean you only focus on jobs that are white collar.
True.
Yeah, you have the time to use, like again I said, you're still very young, you have this time to experiment. So as much as you're applying to the ideal jobs that you want to pursue, use that period also to test out certain other things. Remember, you could be having a range of skills. The fact that you studied a course like anthropology and you come and realize you can do pastry, that period allows you to practice and really test out, and maybe you will realize your true potential during that time. So you realize this other one is very hands-on. You get to some place, you can bake, you utilize certain skills that you have. So it doesn't have to be purely white-collar jobs, but even these other jobs allow you to test out the potential that even you yourself probably didn't know you had.
I like the part where you said you studied anthropology, but you still have a liking for pastries.
Yes.
Now, with this new curriculum called the competency-based curriculum, is it going to help most of these job seekers discover from an early age, or?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. That was an improvement from the previous curriculum we had, because there was always a complaint from the employers that the graduates we are getting are not really well trained. You find people who can't really articulate and name the skills that they have, because somehow they were majorly theoretical in class and they never got to be aware of who they really are. So the curriculum we have right now, I think we have expectation that it will produce better qualified candidates. And I think it's a positive step.
It's a positive step.
Yeah.
Now, I've finished school, or I'm still in school. What time should I start looking for a job or an internship?
It should begin before you finish school.
Ah.
Yeah, you should always be aware. And if you're in a school or an education system, or you're in a college, a university that doesn't challenge you to think of where you're going after school, then that's a big problem. So we need people who think ahead. As you learn a course, you should constantly be asking yourself, where am I going to apply what I'm gaining? So such that you should be surveying the work environment even when you're still in school, and know exactly who you should go to if you were to step out and seek employment. So job search starts from school. You begin immediately. And then that is where you get, you find students, many students nowadays look for attachments by themselves. So it means if you're not aware of who is out there, who could welcome you to work for them, then you're losing as a candidate. So always look beyond school, look beyond books, and survey to know where you should go to find work. Don't wait until you graduate.
Okay,
Yeah.
so don't wait till you graduate, then you're like, now I need to look for a job. Start as early as possible.
Yeah.
We have the CV. We've been talking about the CV for a very long time. For a person who just finished school, no experience or little experience, who should be their referees?
For a fresh graduate, you see, a CV is a professional document, and what you relate from on your CV should only be contacts that are professional contacts, people who can attest to the strengths that you have or your professional contact. And immediately after school, you may think of your immediate trainers. If you're in a school and somebody is observing your capabilities well and can speak to an employer to the strengths that you have, then you can have that person as a CV on your CV as a referee. But you can also remember during school you went for attachments. You also get chances to do volunteer work, which many people are not doing nowadays. Okay, those attachments, volunteer work, and any other things that you do, the extracurricular activities, could get you quality referees. If you go to volunteer in an organization, the director of that organization, if they like your work, one, they're a very important network for you when you're leaving school, and they could hire you if it's an organization that has space. But two, they would be so happy to recommend you because you are doing some good work for them, and maybe they really like your work, and they are very happy to back you up when you're now out looking for work. So those can form your primary referees, and of course you will keep updating your referees as you continue working in other places. You must always update to be recent. Yeah.
I like the part where you said with this age, people are quick to say, I don't want an internship, I don't want to volunteer.
Sure.
How important is it to volunteer or to become an attachee somewhere?
It is very important. That is a point that I really like to emphasize. And candidates should not see that as, remember, you should not see that as working for free, especially when you are young again. When you're very young, you really don't have much to lose, okay?
That's true.
So as you step out to go and work for somebody, one, you get to polish up your skills. If you knew a thing to do with internet, for example, you're building websites, you can't expect a very well-established organization to hire you and to start building their websites initially without you practicing that talent. See that period as a period of exercising your skills, more like a sports person. You see, before the main game, they're doing certain things, waking up in the morning and running for free, okay? They're just honing their talents, strengthening their skills, and getting to know, as a graduate now, you're getting to know exactly what you can do well, what you enjoy doing, okay? And then you're getting free guidance also from the people you're working for. So you will have presented yourself, you're doing something for somebody, and that person appreciates it and guides you. They teach you on how to tweak certain things. Also, at this point you can do it like this. At this point you can do it like that. You cannot just leave school and be an expert in some field.
True.
So volunteer work and these attachments and internships offer you opportunities that are very, very valuable. Far valuable beyond the money that you will be paid.
That we look for.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very true. During the internship, it reaches a level and you're like, I'm done with internship. After how long should a fresh graduate now say, I need to look for a job?
Yeah, that is true. That again, as you offer yourself to do internships or entry-level roles or unpaid positions, you must watch out also to see that you're not wasting a lot of your time. One, not everyone is, unfortunately, not everyone is very good to immediately start to say, now stop the internship, let's start a paid contract. Some people may choose to extend the internships indefinitely and wait for you to leave, and that may not be very good. So you should see, based on what you agreed with the employer initially as you came in, if your internship indicated 3 months, it should be 3 months. It should not extend beyond that, or unless you have an arrangement within the organization and you are okay with it. So most internships will be up to a period of 3 months. For other organizations can be 6 months, but it should be in agreement when you get started. And then now as you finish that period, the organization should be very clear on whether they are absorbing you or they are letting you go find employment elsewhere. Remember, if you're continuing to work for someone beyond the internship period and they are not letting you go, it's only an indication that you're valuable for that organization, and therefore they actually should be paying you, because now remember again, you should not lose the fact that you need to find gainful employment. You should be finding gain from it in terms of payment or some form of reward. So if an organization is using you for a long period, that may be
using you
a red flag. Okay. Yeah, I say that because it happens, unfortunately, sometimes. So be smart. Be smart. Yeah.
Okay. In campus, we had a lot of people coming for talks and telling us, right now, when you're still in school, you need to get people to talk to. More of mentors. Is it important for one to have a mentor?
Absolutely. And that is a point that you cannot overemphasize. Mentorship in the career path, as you scale your career ladder, is so highly important. Remember, mentorship is somebody transferring their wisdom over to you, and mostly it's for free, and that is very, very important. It guides you. A mentor in your field not only helps you to see beyond where you are immediately, but they can guide you and point you to the safer paths to take. Okay, so I see mentors, and mentors, by the way, are very important people. There are so many people who are willing to offer themselves as mentors to young people, but the problem is many young people are not reaching out to the mentors themselves.
We just want to sit and say, I'll get a mentor very, very, very soon.
And you won't be surprised to even realize that some people don't even know what a mentor is and the role they would serve for them. So many of them don't know. I don't know. I think, as you say, talks in schools and exposure should be more. I think organizations of the institutions of education should be exposing candidates to some of this.
Okay.
Yeah, mentorship is important.
Now, you've mentioned that a mentor should come from your field. What are some of the things that you need to look for in a mentor?
Of course, a mentor should be more like a reflection, a mirror, somebody you aspire to become. Someone, like if you're in media, you're looking at somebody who's doing well in media and successful, and if you could reach out to that person as your mentor. So you can't have a mentor from a completely different field. Yes, some people may have some wisdom that cuts across and they could share, but ideally a mentor would be somebody who has taken the path that you would like to take. So it's good to look at that initially when you're trying to find one for yourself.
This conversation just takes me back to my campus days. While in campus, I used to have a notebook and list the companies that I'd like to work for. Then a few of my friends would be like, you're over-dreaming, or you're doing a good job.
So it is good to survey and know and know who you would really like to look for and to work for, and also reach out to those people for possible opportunities they have. You may find they have internships and openings for you. So it is really good to do that, and actually that is very encouraged for candidates.
A few people I've interacted with, they're like, graduates are so overconfident. When they enter into an office, they're too confident. Is there such a thing like an individual is too confident?
I don't think so. I think confidence is an admirable trait, and for graduates across the board. First I should address that point of graduates. I once ran into students from a college, and they was not considering themselves graduates because they think graduates is a reserve for people who come from universities. Yeah. Yeah, so graduates, you can graduate from any level you're studying, from college, from university and beyond. But it's really good for you to be confident, because confidence is a very, very admirable trait across the board. People that you will be hoping to work for desire to find such traits in you, that you are a confident person who can be entrusted with responsibilities. Again, if you're very shy, it really takes away from you and hurts your chances.
Yeah. A lot of us are in social media, especially us young people. We like to at least enter Instagram, Facebook, and at least post 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there such a thing like I am posting content that would actually affect my chances of getting a job somewhere?
That is a very, very important point. And it actually happens a lot, especially if you're working, if an organization is using a recruiter or they are recruiting in-house, they do thorough research of who they want to hire. So recruiters in particular are tasked with checking backgrounds and so many things about a candidate before presenting them to the potential employer. So one of the things you look at after looking at the CVs, you search to see who that person is, and you will find them online. So if what you post online is not supportive or is not consistent with who you say you are, or has a different character that is completely conflicting with what I see on your CV or the role that you're trying to seek, then of course it offers a room for disqualification. So many candidates are disqualified based on their character online, the content they post online, the comments they make online. And they should have seen this even with celebrities, where sometimes someone has something on Twitter and it hurts their career entirely. So that awareness needs to be very clearly passed on to fresh graduates, because truly it affects, and it can affect your chances a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
You've mentioned their celebrities. That's very true.
Yeah.
Now, is there a way I should name my email address? For example, I can have notyouraveragegirl@gmail.com. Can that portray who I am, just from that detail?
Yes, that is still part of your online identity. So if your documents are coming through from email with a funny name, those interesting usernames, nobody takes you very seriously. So those are some of the things we look at. So when you write an email, first it should show your name professionally. Use your email. I've seen also people that use somebody's email address to send documents. Again, that really puts a lot of question marks. Remember, there will be always smart, competent candidates competing with you for the same position you're applying for. So your game must be top-notch. So polish up your name as it will appear when it comes to through the email. Again, get an email address that is professional. The example you gave is not very professional.
True.
Now in this case, if your name is Laura Nell, it should be close to that as possible. So you try Laura Nell first. If you're lucky, you find that at gmail.com or whichever domain. And if you can't find that, find some. The rest of the addition should be something that is just safe within the safe professional expectations.
There is one person who mentioned to me, I have one of my emails which has, let me just give it, Laura Nell at 85, Laura Nell 85 at gmail.com. Putting that, someone may assume it's my year of birth. Is that okay for me to use, or I need to tweak it a little bit?
That is okay. That is acceptable. Again, it may not exactly reflect your year of birth, because also this email providers give suggestions. It may have been suggestion given to you, but adding numbers is just a good way of it's an acceptable way of differentiating or finding a unique username or the email address. So that one is acceptable. and it's not punishable. Yeah.
What's your parting shot to that graduate who is desperately looking for a job?
Would say desperation looking for a job, unfortunately it happens sometimes, but they should not see it as despair. They should be persistent in their efforts reaching out. One, I think I've mentioned previously that they should have their application documents in place. Two, they should have a good plan and reach out to people who can help them. And of course, three, there is another thing that usually doesn't come out so strongly, that don't just apply for jobs the conventional way. Sometimes, I say it again, when you're young, you're free to risk. Maybe you were at some event and you saw the director of the company that you had written in school or the HR to that organization, and now you're passing that chance. You don't want to speak to that person. I would say walk to them, say hi, and speak to them, even if you don't have your CV right there. Don't wait to write an email because they may never really get a chance to read. But stepping out and doing something out of the contrary, what is the worst that can happen to you?
Just a no.
It can be a no, but it can also be a yes. Maybe that is the time he has time and he is free to listen to you, and it could leave a very good impression. Personally, I've had candidates who did that, and sometimes it turns out very well. Yeah, so do things out of the ordinary sometimes. And one last point I would add, maybe for now, we have so many things we could share with fresh graduates, but I would also touch on the fact that they should update their socials, their social media accounts. So if you are in a profession like PR, for example, have that reflected on your social media accounts. Could be LinkedIn or even Facebook or Twitter. Usually have some place there where you can do an intro. But LinkedIn primarily allows you to almost do an entire CV of yourself right there. So it is good to update that so that when you reach out to people and they check you, they're able to see and they can know right there and then whether you are relevant to what they're looking for, a competent candidate or not. So that is a very good point also that I should like to pass to them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So that has been Meet the HR Show with Mr. Erastus Cheruiyot. And today we've learnt a lot, especially when it comes to how you need to portray your professional life through your social media. Get one or two, and it will help you to move from one level to another, from just a job seeker at home to now being that employee. That has been Meet the HR Show with me, Laura Nell.